Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Sagittarius, this week we're going to see how you've changed. So we're going to see who you were then, who you are now. What is the lesson that you haven't quite fully learned or mastered at this point? And what is the lesson that you have fully learned? So I'm going to use a few different decks. I'm going to use the Tarot of Positive Clarity. I'm going to use the Divine Goddess deck. And I'm going to get started with the Animal Spirit Oracle deck. So we're going to get started, Sagittarius, and see how you've changed. Sagittarius, there was one phrase that I would use to describe this reading that sits on the table here in front of me. You have paid your penance. Whatever that's for, I don't quite know. I'm going to look more carefully through this energy with you because that'll give me more clarity. I find there's only so much clarity I can get just quickly looking at the cards. I need to tap into you guys and your energy. But you have paid your penance in something. You have done your due diligence. You have given as much as you can to a situation. If there's something that you have done incorrectly in the past or done something wrong, and come on, we all have. So none of us are perfect. You have done everything in your power to make it right. You have, yeah, at least in the eyes of the universe. And I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe this in the eyes of someone else. I don't, my gosh. This is so interesting. Okay, the underlying card that you have in the Animal Wisdom deck is give with gratitude and grace. Okay, give with gratitude and grace. In the past, who you were then, generous, flow, just going with it, being generous. I want to say with flow, it's almost as if when you could see that there was a need, you were in there. You were giving of yourself in any way that you could in that need, just flowing with life here, unpredictable. Now, the lesson that you have fully learned is freedom is yours and forgiveness. And not only that, you have the World card coming in with that too, to literally state that you have closed something off here. You know, at first glance, I thought, oh, is this Sagittarius has forgiven somebody, and because of that, they've opened up freedom for themselves? It could be, but it feels more like you have tried to pay penance to something here. The thing that you haven't learned fully is to reclaim your power. The Moon and the Eight of Wands. Somehow, I want to say, I'm not sure with the Moon. There's definitely like fears and unknowns. I want to say your spiritual path, your own spiritual path here. And with the Eight of Wands and reclaim your power, that is like, go. Like it is all yours. You have done your penance, because this card to me would symbolize the energy of somebody who has done penance. To me, it's like, I've always received the message that this powerful Black Panther energy symbolizes the most powerful, protective, angelic guide on the planet. And it shows up in points in time where we could be dealing with something quite evil, quite nasty, quite low vibrational, because the story that I channeled like a few years ago now with this energy is that it was at one point, it was kind of like the devil's right-hand man. So it has been in there. It is like a fallen angel energy that has done penance, but it is like elevated from that, and it sort of does its penance by all the wrongs that I did in the past. I'm correcting them now by helping people move past the wrongs that are trying to be done to them, right? Through this energy that I once served. I'm no longer serving that energy. I'm serving a higher good. I want to say again, because it's where that energy originally came from. So to you, like this, really interesting, really interesting reading, Sagittarius. There's a few things that have come into my head too, sort of like, I want to say, kind of examples of what I'm seeing sitting on the table here is it could have been like, let's say you were going through a selfish period in life. And I don't know, you could be a teenager or something. You could even go back as far as that. Or you're going through a midlife crisis. I don't know. And you're kind of like just focused on yourself, doing things for yourself. Maybe you had a parent that could have used your help with something, or a sibling or anybody. You weren't there. You were not there. And at some point, it's almost like, you know, you come out of that energy and then you realize, oh, that was shitty of me. You know what? Okay, I'm going to make it up. You need help, mom, dad, you need help cutting the grass. I'll be there this weekend. But it's like so I want to say you've done your penance. Like it's almost as if somebody has possibly even held something over your head for years that you did years ago. And you have done everything in your power to correct this. You've done everything in your power to free yourself from something. You have, so if somebody has not forgiven you, I'm telling you, the universe has said you've done what you need to do. If you continue to do this, you're actually pulling yourself more in low vibrational energy because you're feeding into somebody else's idea of victimization. They want to continue to victimize themselves at your cost, is, you know, how I would see that. So this is probably a reading that's not going to go over too well with anybody who's a cross watcher, and I have no problem in your readings for a little bit. Oh boy, Sagittarius, have you given? You have given, you have given. If there is something that the universe felt you owed other people in your life or someone else in your life, if this is even something that has been an energy that you have had to serve others repeatedly, maybe you didn't like in this lifetime do anything that I sort of described. Maybe you have been like kind of like the perfect person, and it just feels like you're always in this sense of needing to give. And you almost like maybe even have a sense that maybe in a past life you could have maybe been very more living a life where you were more self obsessed about things for you, and you've paid that penance. I don't know how else to say it. You've paid that penance, Sagittarius. But the thing is, you may not realize this. You may not realize the freedom that you actually have right now. You have paid some sort of penance in the first part of your, I don't know, the first half of your life, the first quarter, the first third quarter. No, how far into your life you are. You have paid a penance, okay? That is clear on the table. But it's now reclaiming that power. So now what do you want to do? That's literally kind of like the lesson that you haven't fully learned. What do you want to do? You've paid your penance. Now what do you want to do? The moon and the 8 of Wands is there. To me, it's like, come on, pick your spiritual path. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go in life? Where do you want to utilize your energy because you have paid the penance? Wow. So, okay, let's look a little more deeply here. So the then, right? I said then. At some point in the past, you were very generous of spirit. You kind of went with the flow. Or, you know, maybe if you were needed here, you went there and did that. If somebody needed you over there, you went and you did that. You gave it, you gave it, you gave it. This is interesting. So the Emperor, the 7 of Wands, and the Lovers. So then, I feel like you've given to people. Somebody holds something over your head. Or it just feels like that in some way here. You're not following the path. But you've been generous. You've even allowed somebody to force their own storyline on you or expectations. That's just the way this Emperor's like got his hand on that blueprint or map. It's not even a blueprint, right? It's a raw, a blueprint is a copy, if I remember correctly, right? And this would be an original drawing of some sort of architectural design. So the Emperor has created this. This is the design. This right here, this is the original. You need to follow this. But the Seven of Wands, it's kept you from your real success. Because the seven is cool, right? Like, she doesn't have all these wands around her that she's sort of using to defend herself in this image. She's using that seventh wand to get up to success. The 6 wands are sitting up there for success. The Lovers. So these are your divine choices. I don't know what this is. This really is fascinating. This is at anybody's reading almost. So here's the key points. You don't have to have felt or know that you did somebody dirty, or you did somebody wrong, or you just didn't do something the right way. But it's kind of like, well, if I'd known then what I know now, or if I was as mature as I am now as I was then, I wouldn't have done that. You know, it was me, it's what I did. And I've done everything I can to rectify it, right? Like that could be part of the story. If that's not your story, but you do feel like you have been repeatedly over life, it's almost like the universe just sets you up in situations where you need to do things for other people. You need to follow other people's blueprints here, or architectural drawings of what is meant to happen or be done. Like, when do I get to choose what I want to do with my life? That's your story. Like those two, like that's your story. And it literally is saying that whatever penance you've had to do, you've done it. You have done it. What do you want to do? That's your lesson. Okay, so that's that there then. Now, okay, so here's the, okay. So where you are now, your beaver, oh, isn't that cute? Your beaver spirit. The beaver on here. Yeah, look at that. All right, so your beaver spirit, lay a solid foundation and patterns. That's interesting. Well, that's interesting because it's a 6 and a 12. So 6 and 6 is 12. I can do that simple one. So that's interesting that the numbers, right? And patterns. There's a pattern right there. Double up on things. Oh, because 6 is, I want to say it's an equal number, and it's equally divisible, right? It can be equally divided. I wish Spirit would make me do math like this. So, right, because you've balanced the scales here with some sort of penance. The 10 of Swords, the 4 of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. You've taken a hit even here. You've taken a hit, you've taken a loss, you've had to heal through it. And now, look at, it's different now. Things are different for you. Things are meant to be different for you. Maybe you even haven't been able to lay a solid foundation in your life. Maybe you've been working on other people's foundations, other people's, architectural plans for life here. But now you are meant to create your own pattern. A new pattern moving forward. But lay the solid foundation for this. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You need to reclaim your power. You've done all the penance you should do. You're finished asking for forgiveness if you've needed to ask someone to forgive you. You are finished that, whether you know it or not. It's the world, I love that the World card coming up in something that you've fully learned. You've mastered this. Freedom and forgiveness. The freedom of forgiveness. So now what do you want to do? Maybe somebody actually has said, you know what, I forgive you. All right. But I don't know if there's guilt maybe that still sits there, or you're just not sure what to do with yourself after you've done things for others. Oh, this is interesting too. Now, the Divine Goddess, you have radical acceptance, compassion, Earth with Gaia, generosity, and communication. I want to say too that I feel like you've said all you can say. If there's something else like that you needed, if there's something that you've needed to do for somebody here, if there's something that you've needed to say to somebody here, you know, I'm so sorry that I did that. I'm so sorry that I behaved that way. Or you've done everything you can do. Yeah. What? Okay, so this is interesting. What is this underline here? I thought it was just that, but no, it's more, right? Okay. Oh shit. Oh my goodness. You have the Tower and the Chariot. You have the King of Pentacles, Temperance, the Seven of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Eight of Swords. Well, I want to say it's so mad. Well, maybe you did do something here. Maybe you did do something here, because this is like the Tower moment. Maybe you created a Tower moment. Maybe you needed some sort of dramatic change in the course of your life. You were tired of giving so much to things that were things or someone. It could be a boss, it could be a parent, it could be a spouse. It could have been so many things here with this Emperor. But it's just like it blocked anything that you wanted to choose for yourself. Maybe you just, but in some ways, I don't know, because when the Tower comes in, was this a Tower of your life? Was this a Tower that you produced in someone else's life? Combination thereof. And then off we go. There's the Chariot, made the Tower, now here I go. And the King of Pentacles is interesting because it's maybe in a sense, even like working on doing things for yourself, maybe looking after yourself, looking after your finances, looking after your stability, looking after any status you were trying to create yourself. Maybe you were very driven at some point in your life here about work and finances, and then like tempering that with the Seven of Pentacles too. It's almost as if realizing almost kind of like you're on a road, and you're on the road just for the sake of the road, and then you kind of stop and say, oh, wait a second. Where am I going with this? What's going on here? I need a second. And I don't know, maybe there's even like things that you feel like you missed along the way. Whatever this past is, like you have done the penance for it. But it's like you don't realize there's a part of the freedom to that. No, you have the freedom. I feel like somebody has forgiven you, but you're yet to reclaim your power. So, okay, if something has kept you from a divine choice in the past, it's because to me with the Moon and the Eight of Wands, that feels like reclaiming your path. You know, there's things for you to discover on this path that are kind of it's very spiritual energy. If given with gratitude and grace, like that's all I can really do. Yeah. You don't need to do anything else here to correct something. I want to say the only thing you need to do is to correct your own freedom of movement somehow. So be generous of spirit. Be generous of spirit and flow. Be generous of spirit and flow. It's going to be, okay, Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups, almost like somebody else's rules. Or, I don't know, actually being very clear with your intent. Being very clear with your heart's intent here. I do feel like you've done something to be, right? And there you have, like, you have generosity again. That's really funny. Somebody had generosity. This is like a whole day. That's a long time, right, Cindy? Well, I do a lot of other things between doing these readings, so it kind of is. Somebody else had generosity. They had them in the same, was it Libra? Be generous and generosity sat in the same spot. But yours is kind of similar. It's almost like, but it's a different kind of energy. Like it's a whole different story here. You've tried to give of yourself in the best way that you can. You've tried to be very clear with that, or you have done that. the Emperor, the Emperor. Nothing to say. Maybe he just points to things. One more time. Together. The Emperor. The Emperor. It's got nothing to say. Well, maybe you've said it all. Maybe you've said it all. Maybe they've said it all. There's nothing to say. Anyway, so let's move on. Okay. Now, here you are. Lay a solid foundation and patterns. I'm going to look at both of those separately. Lay a solid foundation. You got the Six of Pentacles. That is exactly what I saw in my mind's eye when I saw that. And it was like the 12 sitting beside it. It's like, you know, you divide it all out evenly. Like being really fair here. Oh, the King of Swords. So maybe you're dividing some assets out evenly here. Could be. To lay a solid foundation. It's like giving. Was it giving? Maybe, but I feel like that's the part that you're, I don't know. I kind of feel like you've already given. Patterns. So what is the pattern here? The Seven of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Five of Pentacles. Well, that's a terrible pattern. So it is, right? Like it's in the process right now is to create a new pattern. Because this, well, what are you sneaking around doing? You're sneaking around. Maybe you're doing things that nobody knows about, like to help people out. And you're like, it's to the detriment of you. Why are you doing that? It is like to the detriment of you. Even like you're on the outside looking in. I don't know. Stop with this penance. Whatever it is, yeah. Because you've been doing something to the detriment of yourself here, to recognize that pattern, right? The Ten of Swords. And I want to say this is a good spot for that. Because, yeah, there's something that you've taken on here that needs to come to an end. The King of Wands. There's an energy, right? That's very self-sovereign. Well, the King of Wands. Well, let's see. Maybe that's the end of... I don't know. Let me see how this whole thing plays out. The Four of Swords. I really do feel like you need to just start reclaiming your power. You haven't. The Four of Swords. The Seven of Pentacles. Like, okay, so healing something. That's a good way to describe, right? Like if you're doing penance, you're trying to heal something, heal things from the past, heal something that you did to somebody in the past, if that is the case. Well, I think if this is resonating, I think you did. Whether it was in this, this lifetime or another lifetime. But you've done that, you know. We all do it. We're all going to do it. It's all part of living different lifetimes and experiencing different energies to understand them all fully. The Wheel. The Seven of Cups. Where do you go now? I don't know. That's what the universe wants you to get out and just do. And just find that. And yeah. I'm gonna clarify that last. The lesson you haven't fully learned. Let's look at this. This is just so interesting. Freedom is yours. You've been forgiven. If you're the one that is needed to forgive someone, I think you would know that, right? You kind of know it. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why would you have difficulty reclaiming your power after that? I'm not sure. That's why I kind of feel like, I mean, maybe that's just my inability to see it. So share it in the comments if you're comfortable doing that, how that works. Because it does feel like to me that you have been trying to be generous with your communication, with everything. You've given with gratitude and grace here too. Like you really, I mean, just that, giving with gratitude and grace. It is my pleasure to give. I'm going to give what I can here. Well, I don't think you can give much more. Freedom is yours. Okay, it's almost like, all right. If you've been held down in something that someone has either made you feel guilty about, I want to say there's some aspect here of you even possibly feeling guilty. You know, like you look back and you think, I shouldn't have done that. It's like the barn door is open and you're not going out, maybe. Like, freedom is yours. It's okay, you can go out and do it. Not every horse has a good day. Okay, you go out now. You calm down, you can go out, right? Like, but no. And if you've been trying to look at different ways to heal something, well, I think you have. You found the way. I think you have. Forgiveness. Wow, the Three of Swords. Gosh, well, maybe you broke some hearts along the way, Sagittarius. The World. Temperance, the Page of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. But you've closed that off. But now you've got the Wheel of Fortune where you are now. And it's like the Seven of Cups, so you're not really sure. You're not really sure. But you spent a lot of time maybe watching something too. Like learning about different ways to rectify something. I feel like you've put a lot of effort into something here. And Crosswatchers, like, if you're Sagittarius, it's not your reading. It's just not always, right? There's nothing worse than seeing somebody who's really doing like the right thing, trying to do the right thing. And then you get a Crosswatcher come in and go, oh, mine's a piece of shit. Well, it's obviously not your reading. Like, you know, like, don't take that away from someone who's done something really good. You know, it's like so many things. It's like, you know, if you run into somebody who wears a red cowboy hat and they're such an asshole, and then you run into another one who's wearing a red cowboy hat and they're such an asshole, and then 3 weeks later you run into someone wearing a red cowboy hat, you're like, oh, I'm starting to see this pattern. They are the nicest person, and you know, oh, here, let me help you with your groceries, or I don't know, like just a nice person. You shouldn't point to that person and say, yo, all the other ones were a piece of shit, so are you. I don't know. Don't get paid enough for this job. So it's just the parts of humanity that just drive me nuts. Like, you no wonder. Anyways, that's just me. Okay, reclaim your power. The Moon. Reclaim your power. The Moon. The Seven of Wands. You feel like you can't. Why? Have you not forgiven yourself for something here? Something is blocked. I don't know. The Eight of Wands. What is the Eight of Wands? Oh. The Nine of Cups, the Chariot, and the Devil is shit. But this card is, okay, you haven't realized that yet. You haven't fully achieved it, learned it. Okay, because maybe, right? Like maybe it feels like every time there's something that you feel like is for you, it's blocked. It's been coming up as blocked in your lifetime. And it's just honestly to me is coming through like some sort of penance that you've needed to do in this lifetime. And we don't remember past lifetimes. You know, maybe you're a complete asshole. No, maybe I was. Maybe, who knows? But you've paid the penance for it. And I do feel like that there's a sense here of, you know, dreams and wishes. Like as soon as you move towards that, it's just going to be a shit show. The Devil. Give with gratitude and grace. Give with gratitude and grace. Maybe you even see, maybe there's like one more obstacle in front of you. The Six of Wands. Every way, yeah, like you can't give anymore. to something. It's just like there's no more that you could, like I said, like it's almost as if you continue to give whatever this is into, you are like digging a different karmic energy for yourself that does end up being negative. Like you've made it positive. If you keep digging on that side of the bridge, you're going to dig another hole, right? So, okay. Radical acceptance. Jeez, the Tower. Where was the Tower? Oh, the Tower was part of your underlying tarot, right? We started with that. So this is like really shifting ideas. And maybe you've shifted some people's ideas quite dramatically. I know Sagittarius, you can be quite, you can be like fast-tongued. It just comes out to tell you. So, okay, compassion. The Knight of Pentacles. Maybe the radical acceptance too is just, with the Tower, it's just kind of accepting sort of the radical things that happen in your life, or the radical things that have happened in your life. But then you have found stability and compassion in that. You have found like a steady way forward. So then Earth, Gaia, this is like, really, it's beautiful. It's birthing things. It's, you know, finding abundance in yourself and then sharing that. The Queen of Wands, really like sharing that. It's a beautiful energy. And then right, generosity, communication. Yeah, I just can't say that you could not give any more of yourself. Generosity. The Knight of Wands, wow, that is just like, I'll rush in, I'll help, I'll do what you need. What is it? Communication. Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Wow, this is, I don't know, if somebody hasn't believed that, sorry, I'm trying to clean off my cards here. If somebody hasn't believed like your heart and your soul here about something, I don't know, there's nothing else you could do. And unless this is something like that you've communicated and you're just waiting for a response, I don't know. I mean, it could be that. It could be just like as simple as that. And here I am like reading like a ton into it, but well, that's what I do. I read a lot into everything. If I didn't, you'd have a 5-minute reading. Well, maybe you guys want 5-minute readings. I could do that. I could probably do the whole zodiac in a day. Two of Swords. Well, what do we do now? I don't know. Wow, you have a double ending. Okay, you have the Five of Wands, the Fool, and then the Eight of Swords, Three of Pentacles. You can't see what you're building. But then that all comes to an end. So, okay, there's like some sort of conflict. It's the underlying. Some sort of conflict, removing yourself from that. But then it's almost like you can't see what it is that you're trying to build with. Or who you're trying to build with. Well, that comes to an end. But then why is there indecision here? It's like the reclaiming your power part. Oh, I don't know. I think I've pulled out as much as I can understand here for you, but you have done your penance. So I'm going to go through the extended. In the extended, I'm going to look at you in transformation and then future you. All right. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.